Question that has come up another time. What is what is one thing you learned about yourself and something about Jeff? Um, well, about Jeff, I mean, I just how he operates and his process, you know. Let's call it a process, which sometimes, you know, I mean, sometimes he will get, he will kind of go into himself a little bit and perhaps get, you know, a frown will come and he'll internalize it, and then he'll you know, let out a word or two, and then he'll kind of like jump up and he'll rise, and then he'll kind of like slay it. That's his process, you know. When he gets hit with a big demand, sometimes he'll say, "Oh man," and then he'll just rise and do it. So we've had to kind of, best to put it, work with that as we like undertook some of the bigger challenges and setting out. You know, like it's the travel for hunger, the travel for new things, and so I learned that, you know, it's a very different beast. Alex was very different than Jeff, so this is going to be very different. Well, about myself, you know, uh, being in touch with family and having strains, you know, emotional strains back home, and you know what happens. I mean, this is an extreme production environment, extreme travel, extreme separation, and then in your mind, it becomes more intolerant with the distance. I've learned to try to be more tolerant and better, and if I get frustrated, try to sleep on it and deal with it the next day when, you know, the sun will rise again. But too philosophical, these questions. Let's get to something more tangible. Um, how awful was that bus ride in India? Well, for me, it wasn't that awful. You know why? Because I had the bunk across the them. So Jeff and Josh were on that one bunk, which was really sizable for one adult, North American adult. I was across the way, and I had the whole bunk to myself. So actually, it was pretty good. I took all their baggage and everything. It was hot, and it was a little bit. We couldn't go to the bathroom, but they had it a lot worse. So hats off to them because they suffered so that I could have a bit more comfort. Saw a pic of Jeff ziplining in Thailand. That was nice. You know, that was one of the few scenes that didn't make it. There was also a very short trip to a Thai beach with Supan. Can we all give a shout out to Supan? Isn't Supan a great guy? I gotta tell you, Supan is one of those friendships that, wherever you are, Supan, probably Tower of Pisa, or wherever he is snapping his mill. All good. Supan is one of those people that it becomes like a rock solid friend that you kind of take with you. And there's many, every one of the people on around the world I can call up and say that I'm going to be back to see them again. But Supan was, you know, he did not know us except from watching, and he showed up at the airport, and really we stayed with him for so long. So why did I bring him up? Just because he was just a wonderful guy, and so he's great, and I'm going to see him. Of course, we live in the same city, Bangkok, and Japan is the bomb diggity. I like that. I was broken, but unbelievably, you know, it's almost like a box wrapping off of it, and this energy just comes out. Always ready, and having the scout kind of background and diligence and organization, but underneath it all, this unbridled curiosity and excitement. So fabulous mix, you know. His mother was just this nice little. I'm not going to say a flirt, but she had this wonderful energy, which was, you know, she'd put on this little straw hat and dress up and take us downtown Tokyo and show us the museum, and she was just wonderful and spoke endlessly and chattered away. And I remember on the very last day when we tried to do everything, we hit the Meiji Shrine, we hit a market, we hit downtown Shibuya and all that, and I think it was about 3 p.m. and we had been going for maybe 5 or 6 hours straight, and she was just pouring over her little book, travel book of like a top 10, of course, in all Japanese. I could not make out any of it. I do not speak the Asian language as well, and certainly cannot read them. Shrine, and I went up to her, we're going to stop now. We're going to go home. Utter shock on her face, and just said, like, almost mean. I said, well, we have enough. We have to stop. We can't stop. I mean, I have 7 other places that we have to get to. Completely serious. It was very touching, very adorable. Her whole heart was in this thing, and many supporters act like that, but she, I think, encapsulated that vibe, and I had to tell her over and over that we're going home, and she was sad, and we were all sad to leave. Who paid the way for you and Josh? That comes out of the show's budget. CBS paid my production company, Around the World Productions. That's Alex and Burton's production company. They own it. I'm not formally a partner, but I'm a partial owner of the Around the World for Free intellectual property. So we're all kind of owners of it. And the production company paid our way, and paid and but again, people always ask, like, were you in a hotel while Jeff was slumming? And the answer is no, of course not. We would miss the story, and we would miss the events. So no, we stay with him and we follow him, and very, very rarely we will separate. One of us will go into possibly like a small little guest house just to have like power and internet and electricity. But most of the time we just roll together. So yeah, there's a budget for our show. Were there any times we had to ration food? No, not at all. In fact, we gained weight. I gained about 10 to 15 pounds. You can probably see it on me. Jeff gained at least 10 pounds. He said he's got his double and triple chins, and he's growing man boobs, and he hasn't been to him in 2 months. Josh is certainly would agree that he's not at his slimmest ever. Just joking. No, food was plentiful, and everywhere we went, people stuffed us, as is bound to happen. And so, yeah, food was not a problem. You give us a little more background of the North Goa Burger Shop. What a place that was, huh? Something to put in like a little travel journal with a lot of like coffee stains and other stuff like that. I mean, that guy was just, we were put in touch with him from someone at the radio station in Bangalore, and so we got there, and this guy, man, what was his name? Sanjay. Um, he was there, and he was this DJ, like trance music DJ, but he had opened this cafe on the beach. Well, not really on the beach, but close to the beach, and it was really like a place out of a I mean, I didn't show this in the webisodes, but there were like posters on the wall with like the founder of the hippie movement. There was a huge picture of the developer of LSD, the doctor, the respected doctor. I mean, there was tons of, India, that part, the beach there, Goa. There's a lot of drugs. This was the off season, and that character, man, what was his name? Was really one for the books. Call him Tom, but he was just a perennial fixture there, close, he definitely had some substances nearby, and he was just nice, and he was chilled on. I remember he kept praising the European women that come there. It's like, so many beautiful Russian blondes that come here, good wife material, but man, I'm really a fortunate Indian man to enjoy that year after year. And he was, he was over 50. Hippie who lived in this house on the beach and rode a bicycle, but that was his life. Slash, that's right. Thank you guys. Slash. Okay, people keep asking about Jeff's biggest emotional low and high. His biggest high, I mean, just recently, this skydiving thing was definitely that pushed his buttons. He was because he faced the fear, and he likes adrenaline charged stuff. He likes charging. Let's just say that he was extremely happy about Italy and the family, and that was definitely a high point, and that kind of encapsulated that he was done with the hardships, and that it was all up and up from this point on, and so he liked that. He loved skydiving. And then the low was definitely India, you know, before, I mean, yeah, definitely. He got sick, he had the runs there, and he wasn't feeling that well, and it kept kind of spiraling downwards. It was hot, and it was, yeah, I mean, India has a, look, it is definitely dirtier you know, it's a relative thing. Some of it is not relative, it's objective, but it started to rub and wear on him by the end. By the time we were in Mumbai, and let's say we had to shoot the slums piece, you know, let's say he was happy when we wrapped that up, you know, when that shoe was wrapped, and when we got the airplane tickets pressed, he was relieved, you know, he was relieved. It's not a knock. It's that was a tough environment, and it didn't push his buttons the way it pushed my buttons. I loved it, but I did the children in Cambodia like Jeff? Yes, they did. They loved him. He played with them. You know, there was no language. There was just a lot of gesturing and a lot of lifting kids up and, you know, playing with them and making sounds and pretending to guns at each other. That was at the charity event. Yeah, I mean, he's good with kids. His nephews loved him in Italy. So yeah, it was fun like that. What was your favorite part of the USA before going overseas? I mean, how can I give a completely unbiased answer here? I think we really started off with a bang. I think Jeff will second me on this from you know, Brad stepping up to get us out of New York, and then of course Brian and Benny, crazy Boston boys who are right there, and Brian single-handedly tried to pack the entire Boston experience into 48 hours for us. So that was pretty intense and pretty good, and just set the stage for the journey. So I'm going to say that was a great way to start. What was your favorite location site that didn't make a webisode? Very few, guys, very few. I mean, 97% of the footage made it in. And I think that it would have been nice to show the Thai beaches, but simply we didn't have enough footage to deliver that properly. And we were kind of scrambling to catch up, and so you didn't get to see a Thai beach that you saw in season one, like Koh Samui, which was jaw-dropping, and I encourage everyone to try to hit a Thai beach in this lifetime if you can. Cambodia also has nice beaches, but far fewer. You can catch Sihanoukville Beach, one Rabbit Island or Snake Island, which lady has bloopers webisode. No, there's not going to be a bloopers webisode. That's a blooper right there. We are putting together just a couple of very short clips for this when it's lost. Just to keep showing him messing up in all situations. I know you guys for it. The best blooper reels are when there's two or three hosts and you keep chatting from one to the other. And those are usually made for rap. I actually made some good blooper reels in my time when I was doing children's back in Canada, and those blooper reels are remembered but are kept strictly confidential and internal because people sue if it's so any chance we will get more episodes later with more from the places you went to? I don't think so. I think there's two more episodes for you guys. When I finish this chat, I'm gonna mosey on back to my well, you want to see my room? Okay, I want to do this is my room here at the hotel. It's a very nice room, very nice hotel. Here is the edit station where the laptop is missing. But I'm going to be there, and then beyond it, there's 8 million bags with adapters, cables, power plugs of all kinds. So anyway, getting back, there's two webisodes left. One covers Virginia, and the last one covers the finale in New York, and that I will still film some of it tomorrow.